Hey, what is going on, boys and girls? My name is Hunting Noobs. I'm coming back at you with some more gameplay footage. And as you can see, guys, I have some reflex, and there's a reason for it. And look, as I MLG Pro bump into that tree, and of course I get pissed off at the tree, not because I bumped into it, because it bumped into me, of course, and I turn around and waste some ammo on the tree, which is a bad idea in reflex because you don't have Scavenger Pro. I mean, you can get a perk called Bandolier, which is extended max, I believe, but not really the greatest of all ideas to waste ammo unless you're running overkill or something like that. Then it's not going to hurt you too bad. So, anyways, guys, as I said in my previous Through My Eyes, I try to integrate Call of Duty into my series, and how I've done that is use World at War in the beginning of my childhood, and once I get to my teenage years in my stories, which is where I'm at right now, I start using Modern Warfare 3, which, I'm sorry, pardon me for using such a shit game and the wrong reference, but I'm using Modern Warfare Reflex, and then my young adult will be Black Ops, and then my present day will be Copy and Pasters 3, which is what I meant to say. So, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into it, guys. I ended a little bit on a saucy note. I said this guy rolled up on me, this guy that I just stole his car probably a week or so before, and he rolled down his window, and all of a sudden I got a 12 gauge in my face. Now, I'm about 15, maybe 20 feet away from him. Now, if he tried to get out of his car, he had no chance of catching me. At that time, I wasn't this sexy, overweight person that I am now. I was a pretty, I was a gazelle. So, I mean, I could climb, hop a fence. We would do roof hopping, man. We would climb up on top of roofs, and we would hop from one roof to the other. I mean, they were only about 6 feet apart and about 2 stories in the air. Yeah, it was scary at first, but once you knew how to, you knew you could make it, you didn't really care so much. So, anyways, like I said, I felt like I can get away, but with him aiming that gun at me, I didn't know if it was a buckshot. I didn't know if it was pellets. I felt if it was pellets, I could have got away. I maybe would have took a couple of them in the ass or something or whatever. But if it was a buckshot, I was dead. That's the whole reason why I didn't just take off running. And he told me, he's like, come here. And I was like, no. I just shook my head no. I didn't say anything. I just nonchalant just shook my head no and just kept looking at him. And he's like, if I find out you stole my car, you're dead. So I kind of gave a little bit of a long gulp and said, okay. And didn't say anything else. And he just looked at me. I could never forget. He had these black shades on and just drove off. And yeah, I was scared to death, man. What's crazy about it is nothing ever happened afterwards. They never found out if I did it, and he never found out if I did it. You can somewhat say these stories are somewhat incriminating, but I don't think the statute of limitations will hold up to a person that's 50, something that happened, 15, 16, 18 years ago, I think. Hold on, can I do the math? Yeah, right around 18 years ago. Holy shit, I'm getting old, people. So, yeah, I don't think the statute of limitations is going to hold up in the state that I grew up on. But anyways, and these are just stories anyways. Just trying to give you guys of some of the weird shit that I went through. So, and this is pretty much the beginning of my criminal career. And I do call it a career because that's all I did. I mean, like I play Call of Duty at this time of my, when it comes to like, not hanging out with friends and family. When I was out and about with my friends, man, we were just doing bad shit, man. We had this game where we would have, I bet $20 that you won't knock the next person that walks around the corner out. I mean, how horrible is that, man? Now that I sit back and think it, man, we were just absolute punks, man. We were, some quote unquote thugs and shit like that. I mean, we were a bad group of kids. And when a person will come around the corner and it's your turn to knock the person out, you had to knock them out or you had to pay. Now, you couldn't knock out a kid, you couldn't knock out a woman. I guess we did have morals for being jackasses, but, I just can't believe it to this day now that I sit and think about it, man, that where I'm at today, and where I was at, I mean, it's a 180, man, from my childhood to where I'm at today. So, and if you did knock that person out, you would have to pay everybody that was there $20. So, or the person if you had a side bet with. It was kind of strange. It really, you could make $100 on one knockout. So, and if the person that got knocked out, they usually didn't say shit because we're about 15 deep, and 15 deep means I got about 15 of my buddies with us, and they just took it like a champ. They brushed their shoulders off. Give us a look of what the fuck was that about, and they just keep on moving. And, we were somewhat known in our neighborhood too. We were the bad guys. Matter of fact, at one point, I kid you not, a reporter from Indiana came and did a report because our area where we were growing up at was rated the highest in crime rate in the tri-state area. I'm talking about Indiana, Ohio and Kentucky. I mean, we were some bad kids, man. And the guys I hung out with, man, they were somewhat of role models to me. You know, I didn't have that father figure. My mother was an alcoholic. I mean, she not a hardcore alcoholic, but she had her fair share of her priorities, to say the least. So these guys that I hung out with were just a little bit older than I were, and I was at the time, and I enjoyed their company, man. You know, it's like somewhat of a family, you know. And they were fucking crazy, man. Like this one buddy I hung out with, man. His name was Lugz, Lugz. Just like the shoe, I think, but he was way before the shoes. And he would have a mohawk, man. He was just one of those crazy-ass white boys. Like, you know, he was a white boy with all the letters, man. And we were walking down this alley one day, and this is back when, like I said, in the stealing car days. So we're walking down this alley, and he's like, they called me Worm when I grew up, Big Worm. So he's like, Worm, what? You won't believe this shit. And I was like, what? There's keys are in the truck. I was like, oh, shit, let's get it. So we're looking in the truck, and we're kind of looking around, and we look up, and this guy looks down right down at us. He's on the roof. He's like, hey, get the fuck away from my truck. And my buddy Lugz was like, fuck you. Well, this guy was a contractor. He was working on the roof. My buddy's like, Lugz is like, fuck you. And the guy's like, motherfucker, don't make me come down there. And my buddy Lugz said, don't worry about it. You won't have nothing to come down to. He hops right into the guy's truck, turns the ignition on, and takes off with his truck and leaves me. He's like, meet me at my grandma's house. Go. So I'm like, holy shit, man, this guy is a fucking nut. So I take off running. I get to his grandma's house, and about 15 minutes go by. And I don't see him, man. You're like, dude, he should have been here by now. But I hear cop sirens in the background, and they're getting closer, and they're getting closer. And then all of a sudden, I see the truck, and he's flying past his grandma's house at about 100. I'm talking flying down this little bitty street, too. I mean, this street wasn't big enough to hold 2 cars. I mean, it's that small. People had driveways to park into. So thank God there was no kids or no other cars out. And all of a sudden, 4 cops' cars behind him. Boom, 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 boom. And they're gone. So I walk up to the area where I saw him driving at, to the main strip where we grew up at. And sure enough, there's the truck. He's in the back of a cop car, and he's getting arrested, and he's getting hauled off. But at the time, man, I thought it was amazing. Like, man, this dude is so cool, man. This is what I want to be like, you know. And that's the type of guys that I hung around with, man. It was just, like I said, it was family. Definitely wasn't ideal when it comes when you're talking family, but at that time in my life, that's what I called it. I can remember sometimes, guys, some of the now in the beginning when stealing these cars, man, it was just all for fun. You know, we would steal a car and we would just, do it to joyride, man. We'd take it right around. We'll go down to the neighborhood where everybody's hanging out. Where we hung out at, there'd be about 30 to 40 people out there selling dope, selling crack, whatever the hell was going on. And a lot of my buddies gangbang, man. My buddies were all, they were Crips and folks. I didn't care from that. My color was green. That's what I looked at. I like that money. So they were all about that. For me, I hate to say dumb shit, but that's what it is, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody if that's what you do, but for me, it's dumb shit. It's really uneducated way of living. So we would drive down there and just do burnouts and take off with these cars and stuff like that. I've been in 2 high-speed chases from doing this shit. Once my buddy was driving, and one time I was driving. Cop car comes up behind me, red lights me, boom, I'm gone. I take off running through, I'm in my neighborhood, so I know the neighborhood like the back of my hand. And I'm driving, and this cop is on my ass, man. And I knew I had to get away fast because I know he's calling back up. I know I have to get the hell out of there, man. So I'm driving. I take off running through this alley. And through these alleys, guys, all through the city, we have these alleys. And it's really, inner cities and stuff like that. So I'm driving, and the trees have uprooted. So I'm hitting tree roots, bouncing around. All of a sudden, boom, I wrecked this car into a tree, and I look in my rearview mirror, and the cop is right behind me. And guys, I'm going to have to end the story right here. You know what I do. It's your boy Hunting Noobs. I'm out this bitch. Deuces, get wrecked, son. Woo!